Mike is the prophecy. Let me cook and explain it all in a moment. Now, before I start everything, let me preface this. I haven't seen any other theories other than like the thumbnails and the titles, so any coincidence is just that. But point me to whoever had the same ideas. If I say something objectionable, pretend it's right. These are my unfiltered thoughts. I have like barely any script here. These are just fucking notes I took. I'm honestly balling. I'm not a theory channel or a professional like half bred and the stuffed alpaca. My note taking is actually very good, and believing otherwise, you are wrong. Stop doing that. Jaro doesn't count as a professional because they stole my fucking Baconator sandwich. So, let me cook for a moment. So, before we get to Mike's, let's talk about why chapters 3 plus 4 is important. Now, chapters 3 and 4, they came out together, as we all know. So, I asked myself, why not release the last 3 chapters in, like, the following order of chapter 3 in 2024, chapter 4 in 2025, and then of course 2026 we get chapter chapter 5, but or just delay it all just one more year and release it all in 2026. The fandom was only like a little insane. They could take like 1 year. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, that was for marketing, marketing or some shit. No. Here's my counter to this. Now, chapters 3 and 4, they came out together. And before you say, oh, it was marketing, because either the fandom is waits 1 more year or they do the whole sequential thing. Here's why I'm skeptical on this. See, it's not chapters 3, then 4. No. It's chapters 3 and 4. It even does this in the soundtrack. Why not separate them? Like, you'd think you want to separate them for, like, organizational reasons. Hell, look at the amount of songs here. You don't want that mixed up if you're just, like, a casual listener or something. Like, if it's for marketing, why not, like, I don't know, fucking separate these? No. All the chapters obviously lead into each other. But I think we need to look at these two together of 3 plus 4 specifically. That being said, the many interpretations of the prophecy. It is literally said that it can be reinterpreted by the GOAT. It's both vague and specific, though, when it comes to the prophecy. Sorry for any background noise. I'm probably just going to hopefully water it down with music. This is a crack theory. So, a human, a monster, and a prince for the dark. The thing is, that could be literally anything. Because one thing is for certain about the prophecy, it seems to always compensate. As I said, even when it's destroyed, it forms somewhere else. The narrative must go on. So, for all we know, we could have had Birdly or the fucking Lancer as the monster and the Prince from the Dark. Because, you know, the many interpretations. That's how the entire prophecy goes. It can be reinterpreted, and it could have essentially anyone in it. God, I'm not editing any of this. This is all going to be raw aside from the song that's going to happen. Okay, so keep this all in mind. Put a pin in it. Just put a pin in it. Now, when Tenna asks for something from Mike, Tenna does it himself. The Mikes do it. Or it somehow happens. But they all compensate for each other. Just like how the prophecy seems to compensate for itself. They all make sure, in a way, that the show goes on. In other words, the narrative. Now, the real Mike makes sure that the show goes on in the case of things just quote-unquote happen. And here, the story is foretold to happen in this encounter. This encounter was foretold to happen. Both, though, seem to have the similarities that there are both quote-unquote real-life things with, you know, the mic and how this kind of looks like a realistic human head, at least from at this point, you know, the valve head. I put the valve head here, but I felt too lazy. But both appear in the same way also as both fading into the screen, and both of them are narratively vital. But the mic is optional. Okay, it's narratively vital when it comes to Chapter 3 to the characters internally. of who that other Mike is, of course. But this to us, who we are not the Mikes, but I'll get to that in a second, this is narratively important to us. So let's, if everyone's following along with my rambling so far, put a pin in that as well. So, let me ask you a question. Why does the prince fight the dragon and save the princess? I'll give you all a moment. Okay, that was your moment. Now, some of you may have answered that the prince wants to marry the princess, or the prince wants to fight the dragon, or some of you freaks probably said the prince wants to actually marry the dragon, which I can't really say any more on that. But, want to know what none of you said? None of you, hold on, am I still recording? Yeah, I'm still recording. But you know what none of you said? Because it was written that way. Following along so far. In Undertale, the final boss of the true pacifist and defiance against the whole kill or be killed is the god of hyperdeath. The ultimate defiance against your choices don't matter is the prophecy or the narrative itself. This is meta enough, way meta enough for Toby to do. Where the hell did the mics lead into this? The mics are the production that are needed. See, the production needed mic. They never said how many. We got 3 mics, coincidentally, as well. We also have the real mic in the background making sure everything still, goes well. Despite there being 3 mics present, as we see, at least unless we decide to go to that optional part where we see the realistic mic, we know that there is a real mic, and we can also say that we are also mic during the encounter. Well, we can also say we're also mic during the encounter, which is important. The mics are foreshadowing a way to win through reinterpreting it through the heroes, or in this case, other mics. Right? As we know, that 3 heroes, but we know there are more than 3 heroes, especially when I said about when it comes to reinterpreting. We know there are more than 3 heroes. I'm just assuming whoever watches this rambling already knows, or probably watched like 20 other theories before getting to this one, and already know the inconsistency with the prophecy and how it technically shows more than 3 heroes, but whatever. Again, the prophecy is always compensating. That being said, that we cannot win, the prophecy will still happen. The narrative cannot stop, but there can always be different heroes to fulfill the roles by the narrative. Right? The true ending will have different heroes. I will not be surprised if the actual ending of Deltarune, like the best possible ending or whatever, or maybe maybe the neutral, for all we know, the neutral route. The neutral route is Gaster, because he's like been stalking us this whole time, and the real final boss is the narrative itself, like the true equivalent. But I wouldn't be surprised if to do that you need different heroes to do so, right? Sorry for the random pauses. I have to keep drinking water. Okay. God, I scrounged this up in like an hour. Okay, so the true ending will have different heroes. That is what I believe. That is the best possible ending. The prophecy will need to be reinterpreted to have different heroes to, save the world. What the hell is the angel's heaven? The apostrophe implies that it belongs to the angel. I have a theory on what that may be. Like and subscribe and pay my bills to support my schizo rambling